In the year 1095, Pope Urban II issued a call that would reverberate through history. He urged Christian Europe to embark on a holy mission to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. This marked the beginning of the First Crusade, a movement fueled by religious zeal and a desire to liberate Jerusalem, the sacred city of Christianity. The Pope's words resonated deeply with the faithful. They believed that Jerusalem, the site of Jesus Christ's crucifixion and resurrection, was under threat. Stories of Muslim atrocities against Christian pilgrims further ignited their anger. For many, joining the crusade was a religious duty, a pilgrimage that promised forgiveness for their sins. The response to the Pope's call was overwhelming. Thousands of people from all walks of life took up arms. They were driven by a potent mix of faith, fervor, and the promise of spiritual rewards. This mass movement, however, also attracted individuals with less noble intentions, seeking adventure, wealth, or escape from their lives. While religious fervor was a powerful motivator for the First Crusade, it was not the only factor at play. Political and economic ambitions also played a significant role in shaping this historical event. The Byzantine Empire, centered in Constantinople, had lost control of Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, to the Seljuk Turks. The Byzantine Emperor, Alexios I Komnenos, appealed to the West for military assistance against the Turks. He sought to regain his lost territories and solidify his empire's eastern borders. The Pope saw this as an opportunity to reunite the Eastern and Western churches, which had been divided since the Great Schism of 1054. Furthermore, many European nobles saw the crusade as a chance for territorial expansion and economic gain. The prospect of conquering new lands and establishing themselves as rulers in the East was enticing. The First Crusade, therefore, became a melting pot of religious zeal, political opportunism, and economic aspirations. The First Crusade, despite its chaotic nature, achieved its objective. In 1099, the Crusaders captured Jerusalem in a bloody siege. However, the fragile Crusader states established in the Holy Land faced constant threats from resurgent Muslim forces. This led to a series of subsequent crusades, each with its own blend of religious and political motivations. The Second Crusade, from 1147 to 1149, for instance, was launched in response to the fall of the County of Edessa, one of the Crusader states. Preached by St. Bernard of Clairvaux, the Second Crusade was joined by powerful European monarchs like Louis VII of France and Conrad III of Germany. However, this crusade ended in failure, highlighting the military challenges of maintaining a Christian presence in the East. The Third Crusade, from 1189 to 1192, arguably the most famous of all, was prompted by the capture of Jerusalem by the charismatic Muslim leader, Saladin. This crusade saw the participation of iconic figures like Richard I, the Lionheart of England, Philip II of France, and Frederick I, Barbarossa of Germany. While the Crusaders failed to recapture Jerusalem, Richard I's military exploits and his negotiated truce with Saladin secured continued Christian access to holy sites in Jerusalem. The Fourth Crusade, from 1202 to 1204, marked a turning point in the history of the Crusades. Originally intended to target Egypt, the crusade was diverted to Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. This shift in focus was primarily driven by economic and political machinations. The Venetian merchants, who had provided ships for the Crusaders, saw an opportunity to settle old scores and gain control of lucrative trade routes in the Byzantine Empire. They manipulated events, exploiting the Crusaders' financial debts and the political instability within Byzantium itself. The Crusaders, swayed by promises of wealth and driven by their own ambitions, ultimately sacked Constantinople in 1204. This shocking act, a Christian army attacking another Christian city, exposed the deep-seated greed and secular ambitions that had come to characterize the crusading movement. Section 5, the Albigensian Crusade, a Crusade Within. The term crusade extends beyond the conflicts fought in the Holy Land. The Albigensian Crusade, which took place from 1209 to 1229, was a brutal campaign waged within the borders of Europe itself. Pope Innocent III launched this crusade against the Cathars, a religious group deemed heretical by the Catholic Church. The Cathars, concentrated in the Languedoc region of southern France, held beliefs that challenged the authority of the Catholic Church. The Pope saw them as a threat to the Church's power and influence within Christendom. The Albigensian Crusade, therefore, was as much about political control and suppressing dissent as it was about religious orthodoxy. The Crusade was marked by extreme violence and brutality. It resulted in the massacre of thousands of people, both Cathars and Catholics. This internal crusade demonstrates the extent to which religious zeal could be intertwined with political expediency and the ruthless pursuit of power. Section 6. Waning Faith, Growing Ambitions, the Later Crusades. As the 13th century progressed, the Crusades became increasingly detached from their original religious objectives. While the stated aim remained the liberation of the Holy Land, later Crusades were often driven by personal ambitions, political rivalries, and the pursuit of economic advantages. The 5th, 6th, and 7th Crusades, for example, were marked by complex diplomatic maneuvers, internal conflicts among Christian factions, and ultimately military failures. These later Crusades lacked the popular support and religious fervor that had characterized the earlier campaigns. The fall of Acre in 1291, the last major Crusader stronghold in the Holy Land, marked a symbolic end to the Crusades. While smaller expeditions and military ventures continued, the era of large-scale crusades had come to an end. Section 7. The Muslim world responds, a clash of faiths and empires. While the Crusades are often viewed from a European perspective, it's crucial to understand the Muslim world's response to these events. The arrival of European crusaders in the 11th century triggered a wave of resistance and jihad, a holy struggle against the invaders. Muslim rulers, despite initial setbacks, rallied their forces and gradually pushed back against the Crusader presence. Leaders like Saladin emerged as champions of Islam, uniting Muslim territories and challenging Christian dominance in the region. The Crusades, therefore, were not one-sided affairs, but rather a complex series of conflicts that entangled religious fervor with political ambitions on both sides. Section 8. The Enduring Legacy, the Crusades and their Aftermath. The Crusades, spanning over 2 centuries, left an enduring legacy on both Europe and the Middle East. They fostered cultural exchange, albeit often through the lens of conflict, leading to the transmission of knowledge, ideas, and technologies between East and West. However, the Crusades also sowed the seeds of mistrust and animosity between Christians and Muslims, a legacy that continues to resonate in the modern world. In Europe, the Crusades stimulated trade, enriched the church, and contributed to the rise of powerful monarchies. The papacy, in particular, gained significant influence during the crusading era. However, the Crusades also drained European resources, led to internal conflicts, and ultimately failed to achieve their primary objective of maintaining long-term control over the Holy Land. Section 9. Holy Wars or Political Struggles. A complex and nuanced legacy. The Crusades were neither purely holy wars nor solely political struggles. They were in essence a complex interplay of both. Religious zeal, ignited by the call to liberate the Holy Land, provided the initial impetus for the Crusades. However, as we have seen, political ambitions, Economic considerations and personal aspirations quickly became intertwined with religious motivations. The Crusades offer a stark reminder of the multifaceted nature of history, where faith, power, and human ambition often intertwine in unpredictable and often devastating ways. To fully understand the Crusades, one must look beyond simplistic narratives and grapple with their complex and nuanced legacy.